RainWings are one of the 7 dragon tribes that inhabit Pyria. One of the things that makes them stand out from other tribes is their acid spray. Despite what people say, it is called acid spray and not venom spray. That is because it is acid. It burns through objects and even whole dragons. One cannot deny that they are the deadliest tribe. If having a constant supply of acid isn't deadly enough, RainWings can also make themselves invisible thanks to their color-changing scales. Imagine living your normal dragon life, hunting a sloth while on guard patrol, and suddenly your face is melting off because you happen to choose to hunt some RainWing's pet sloth. Yeesh. But RainWing's color-changing scales aren't just used for combat. The scales of a RainWing can also change color based off of the emotions of a dragon. But what do each of the colors mean? Let's go over that. Before we get started, if you are new to this channel, please think about subscribing. I regularly post both Wings of Fire and Warcats content so you'll never be bored. And to my current subscribers, thank you so much for supporting me. I wouldn't have gone here without y'all. Now, without further ado, let's discuss RainWing scales. First of all, what is the base color of a RainWing's scales? This may sound strange as RainWings constantly change colors, but even chameleons have a base color. Funnily enough, chameleons are the answer to this, or rather, a single chameleon. Chameleon was a dragon, a RainWing, born with a snout deformity which prevented him from getting good sleep. Because of this, or another condition that can't be detected which is comorbid, he cannot change his scale color. Chameleon is green, and from that we can say that the base color for RainWings may be possibly green. After that, what about blind dragons? They can't perceive color, so what color do they turn to? Well, most of the time, color changing is a thing that scales do automatically and subconsciously whenever a dragon expresses a strong emotion, unless they learn emotion blocking. It does not rely on a dragon's knowledge of color. Because of that, a blind dragon will almost always show their emotion on their scales. A blind RainWing could force themselves to feel something in order to keep their scales the same way, but could not consciously choose their color like a non-blind RainWing could. Now that we've gone over those complexities, what about the colors themselves? Let's go down the color scale starting at white and making its way down to black through the rainbow. White represents fear. However, it can also appear when a dragon is unconscious and in a coma or deep in a dream state. It has also been seen whenever a dragon is shocked. When Clay is bitten by the dragon at Viper, Glory turns white, for instance. Pink is obviously happiness. 2 dragons who keep pink on their scales constantly are Jambu and Kinkajou, 2 dragons who of course like to keep positive. Pink also represents love, which fits the 2 dragons as well. Red can represent anger, which is pretty straightforward. However, crimson, a slightly different shade of red, can mean embarrassment or even love. Orange represents courage. Kinkajou's scales become a mix of orange and black right before the Jade Winglet tries to intercept Icicle before she goes and tries to kill Queen Glory. However, it can also represent frustration. Gold represents envy. This makes a lot of sense for dragons as they love gold and would be envious of anyone who had it. Yellow represents excitement. Kinkajou has a lot of yellow on her scales. Pineapple does as well. Pale green represents fear. Green can represent worry. Emerald represents irritation. Glory is naturally emerald, so it makes sense based off of her sarcastic personality. Dark green shows distress. Light blue represents sorrow. Blue represents sadness. However, dark blue can show that someone is deep in thought. Purple is an interesting color. When light, it shows embarrassment. When neutral, it shows shame. However, when it is very dark, it shows guilt. Because of the range of meanings for purple, Queen Magnificent changed her scale colors to purple before committing a crime in order to hide her feelings towards the action. Indigo shows pride. Pride being so close to guilt is a nice contrast in my opinion. Gray represents sadness and grief. It can also show that something medically is wrong with the dragon, likely a lack of sun. The dragons trapped on the volcano were often gray, and Glory's scales were described as being a bit dull before she was able to sleep in full sunlight. Black represents hatred. I find that to be interesting as Nightwings have black scales and they kidnapped and hated the RainWings, but the RainWings don't seem to hate them back, at least not too much, besides for Kinkajou. Those are all the RainWing colors I can remember being shown in the series, and some information on cases where RainWing's presentation of scale color might be a bit different from the rest of the tribe. If you are a RainWing, what color do you think your scales would be most of the time? If you like this video, feel free to subscribe. I make Wings of Fire and Warcats videos pretty often, and your support would mean a lot to me. And to those who've already subscribed, thank you for continued support. I wouldn't have gone here without y'all. Peace, Rogan out.